is why I keep continuing that there is a problem around the world when it comes to anime and manga content. There are those out there that don't like, like I said, they try to call it pornography. They try to basically demoralize it because basically of some of the content that basically it represents. The isekai, the fan service, the hentai, so on and so on and so on. Now, in Russia happens to be one of the countries that has basically tried to ban anime and manga. We've seen this before, that, movies, series like, Death Note has been banned from the country because supposedly someone self-deleted themselves. And the thing they found is that they were a fan of this series. And because the guy was wearing a suit when he self-deleted, they blamed it on the animated series. Which, this is the thing that happens. Taking it from an overall view. We've seen this in history, and we've discussed this on Man with the Show. We've seen Senate subcommittee hearings. We've seen trials have happened where music, television, movies, video games has been ostracized by the government, by those Puritans that says that, it's detrimental to children, that it causes violence and basically self-deletion. But the thing about it is, all of it really doesn't exist. It's a phantom thing. Why I say this? Because many psychologists have come forward. There have been many studies done here and abroad that have said, no, this does not push violence. This doesn't push sex abuse. This doesn't push self-deletion. You make the choices yourself of what you do with your life, how you deal with it. People have mental issues. Yes, mental health issues, and they need help. Right now, the youth of America is suffering through this for quite some time now. And you see it in the news all the time, that they're being brainwashed in the school systems, especially at the college level. That's why I've said, if you want to have a great career, you want to be, have a good education. 1, self-educate yourself. 2, hit trade school. Believe me, that it's worth the money to spend to go to trade school, because you will find a way of making money by working with your hands. Because there are those out there that are taking classes and basically trying to get degrees on things that basically there's no jobs out there for it. But in the other case, in trade school, there's plenty of jobs available. There's always a need for a good plumber. There's always a need for a good electrician. There's a good need for a good contractor. Why? Because we're always needing things to be fixed or things to be built. But getting back to this, and this is an article that came out back in October, about late October. Fortunately, we just haven't gotten a chance to get to this story. So many things have come forward. This is out of the Moscow Times. Russia blocks world's largest anime and manga database over LGBTQ plus content. I say LGB these days myself. Russian authorities have banned the world's largest anime and manga platform, MyAnimeList, over extremist LGBT content, the state media reported. Federal media watchdog Roskomnadzor placed MyAnimeList into its national blacklist of sites banned in Russia. Without citing formal reason, Russia users attempted to access the site, now receiving an error message. MyAnimeList is a global online platform dedicated to Japanese animation and comics with around 20 million users. Roskomnadzor cited systematic placement of materials containing information, propaganda, non-traditional sexual relations, and preferences for its decision in comments of state-run news agency RAA Novosti. Roskomnadzor said the ban could be reversed if the Tokyo-based platforms removes the content deemed unlawful in Russia. Russia has previously banned several anime titles. In 2021, a St. Petersburg's court prohibited online distribution of titles including Death Note, Tokyo Ghoul, Inuyasha, citing concerns that the teens were reenacting violent scenes from the cartoons. The government has for years pursued measures against LGBT expression under gay propaganda laws that first passed in 2013 and were expanded in the years since. In late 2023, Russia Supreme Court issued a landmark ruling declaring the so-called International LGBT Public Movement to be an extremist organization. In a way, that is partially true. Why? For the reason is there are those radical within the LGBT community that are, the T end of it and the Q end have literally taken over the movement itself. Why? Why have they? Because they're very radical to the situation. So radical that the rest of the LGBT community are starting to realign itself and create a new organization against this main one itself. We've seen this already online on several different sites, that there are groups of people from the gay community that have banded together to create a new activist group that are basically showing what is the problem with their own group itself. Obviously, this has been happening with every activist group you could think of. You go down the list onto there that, they try to help their minority group, but then you get those in there that have become very radicalized and take over and become, a more detrimental to their own community to that standard. But, Russia has been they've been overgeneralizing themselves when it comes to anime and manga, that they just literally just putting the blame on their own internal problems on, stories. That's what they're doing.
If you like this content, be sure to check out the rest of this video on Otaku Thursday. Every week on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and Rumble. And don't forget to comment, like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time!